Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we are visiting Humayun's tomb in Delhi. Humayun was a Mughal emperor who basically ruled over the India subcontinent from 1530 to 1540 and again from 1555 until his death the following year in 1556. And what made this guy so important, you may ask? Well, he was the son of Babur, the founder of the great Mughal dynasty. Now, the Mughal dynasty was significantly important here for its impact on history and culture. The Mughal emperors were known for their wealth, power and patronage of the arts, and that played a significant part in forming the music, the literature and all that side of it here in India. The dynasty also played a key role in shaping India's diverse cultural landscape, as well as political and economic systems. This tomb here behind me that you can see is the tomb of Isa Khan, and Isa Khan was part of the court here. They were laid to rest here in 1547. So just something to note that it's not just Humayun who's buried here, it's different figures and members from past, different empires, different historical figures. And of course, for those of you who don't know it, Humayun's temple here in Delhi is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Going off that, it's definitely worth a visit. Enjoying the day, but it's very hot, 36 degrees today, but this is Delhi. Also, I didn't mention that it's 600 rupees each to get in here, so it works out at about €6, I think, somewhere in that region. We got a tuk-tuk here as well for about 200. Yeah, it's fairly cheap going by European costs here. We're very famous here again. All these people want to get some photos with us. And we're very happy to oblige. Like, we're seeing once we leave the hotel here in Delhi, we pretty much become an attraction in ourselves. People love to run up to us and shake our hands and take pictures with us. It's really nice. It shows that they're very open, very warm, very nice. So if you didn't know, Humayun's tomb was actually commissioned by his wife the year after that he died. So that was in 1556. And obviously she must have thought well of him to do something like this. It's an absolute monstrosity of a site, it's huge. So now we're after going through this kind of big red archway. A lot of this architecture was actually designed by Persian people who came to build Humayun's tomb. It's quite cool. I think it's red sandstone, some white marble as well. I have to say it's very impressive here. So this tomb was the first of its kind here in the India subcontinent, and it actually in later years served to kind of influence Mughal architecture as the years advanced. It's amazing to see the kind of red sandstone. It's kind of synonymous when I think of this part of India. I think of the architecture, and it's so cool to be here and experience it firsthand. So the tomb itself was actually completed in 1572. That was obviously a number of years after it was started by his wife. And obviously it's going to take a long time. The scale of this place is absolutely huge. And as I think I may have said before, it's full with the burial grounds of different emperors, different tombs from different parts of the Mughal dynasty's history. And you can really see there's a nice blend of Persian and Indian architecture as you walk throughout the complex here. It's absolutely stunning. I'm struggling big time with the heat. It's unreal. Feeling weak and feeling tired, but we have to keep going. It's a once in a lifetime thing to come to Humayun's tomb, so we have to keep powering through. Lupe, what do you think so far?
Unreal, as you would say.
Unreal. So obviously so far what we've seen isn't actually Humayun's tomb, but it's the complex, you would say, where other people from the dynasty, other prominent figures around that time are buried as well. Maybe they're kind of leading us on to the last big finale or climax where Humayun was buried. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. I have read as well that this place went under serious restoration in the 20th century, and it was only actually reopened to the public in 2013 as well. People can come in and learn about the Indian history, the Mughal dynasty. It's a real learning curve here for us as well. We weren't the most educated about Indian history before we came, so it's nice to kind of learn a bit more about the area that you're in. For the first half an hour or so we were kind of just walking around, going wherever we pleased, but I think now we're finally after stumbling upon Humayun's tomb. So the wall here that you can see beside me, the entrance I should say, is 16 meters tall, obviously made up of that red sandstone and the marble as well. It's quite impressive standing in front of it and walking in to such a historic site. There it is, Humayun's tomb. Oh my god, it's crazy to be here. It just sticks out so strongly in the sky. The big dome on the top is quite impressive. I just want to go up now and get inside, walk around it, take a few photos. I might put up a few photos of the edited ones here, so you can have a look at them and see what you think. Oh my god, it's impressive, not gonna lie. Can't help but smile. So I'm just reading here that Humayun was actually ousted by his brothers. They did a rebellion against him and he was forced to move to Persia to live in exile for about 15 years. The Shah at the time then helped Humayun to take back Delhi, but it was only a matter of time after this when Humayun actually passed away. Humayun's tomb here is known as a Char Bagah. Char Bagah means 4 gardens and 4 streams. So this idea came from Cyrus the Great's tomb in Persia, which was about the 6th century. And interestingly enough, later examples of this type of tomb can be found in North Africa and Europe in the years after this. The tomb here is quite unusual because, as I said before, there are several other family members and different significant people from the past who are also buried in the complex, but there's about 160 people in total. Another fact that makes Humayun's tomb a little bit different as well, at the time most other buildings were built in brick. Obviously this was built in red sandstone and marble, which added a little bit something different to the time. It was a little bit different to the other structures built in brick and which were then covered in ceramic tiles. The tomb lays in the centre of a big square garden which is divided by waterways, and as we're walking up to it here now, it's actually quite enough. Like, there are a few people around obviously, but just with being the low season it's a bit nicer. But people, they're still mad for getting photos with us. Even yesterday at the Lotus Temple, I'll put the video for that one up here in the link, and they love it. They can't get enough of the photos with us for whatever reason. What a historic place we're at once again. This is the life. This is what travel is all about, my friends. Ooh, so we're just after taking a seat here now. I think the heat is getting to the both of us. Even this seat that we're sitting on now is burning the backside off me. It's so hot here. It must be 36, 37 degrees. The tomb here itself, it actually goes upstairs and different layers and gradually moving backwards again. It kind of reminds me a little bit to Angkor Wat. So we're going to go around the perimeter here now, check out the 4 walls, see what they're like. It's probably, I don't know, 5 to 8 meters wide here, space where you can walk around the tomb itself. But it is spacious. Time to enter Humayun's tomb. Seriously, it's one of the most impressive sites I've been at. I'm not the biggest expert on, as I said, Indian history or the Mughal dynasty, but there's an aura here definitely. But what I'm trying to say is, it's an amazing site. There's a presence here. The architecture is second to none. Right on the top there's this big sort of cream coloured dome, and on the very tip top you have like a golden spire reaching up into the sky. It's probably 3 meters in height. It's really standing out above the skyline here. Really impressive. Humayun! Woo! I think now we are basically as far as we can go as a tourist. I think as you go further into the middle, it's kind of closed off a little bit, and that's where the tomb itself is. Maybe we can go a little bit further in. Let's explore. Tourists are actually allowed to come in and circle around the tomb itself here in the middle. Unbelievable. I just have confirmation that that is Humayun's tomb in front of us. Cannot believe it. I was actually told as well that there's a couple of rooms that offshoot the central tomb here itself. His relatives are buried in here as well. Very much part of the dynasty burial ground, I suppose you could say. To be here in such a historically significant place in Indian history from the Mughal dynasty, cannot believe it. I suppose I found it hard to believe that this would be the tomb because there's such little security here. People can just come and go as they please, and for the site that it is, I just felt like maybe it was underground or hidden away in a different room, but no, this is it. Behind me here you can see a couple of graves. These were relatives of Humayun. There's 4 rooms in this tomb similar to this with different relatives. It's really quiet here. It's quite kind of eerie, but it's quiet and peaceful. Plenty of these, I'm not even sure what you'd call them, but they let in basically a lot of natural light, and it goes straight through one side of the building to the other, so it sends all the light into the center. And I also imagine as well that has a lot to do with keeping the building cool, because it gets very hot here as well. So a combination of light and keeping the building cool. So that's it. We're after ticking Humayun's tomb off our list of things to do in Delhi, and yeah, it was really great, really interesting. If you're into architecture, if you're into history, this is the place to come if you're in India. It's very colourful, the red sandstone, the white marble, it's so picturesque, it goes really well together. We've met a lot of nice people here today as well. We met a group of nice guys from Bangladesh. They're here to get their visa to go and live in Croatia for a year. So again, lads, if you're watching, nice to meet you, and I hope it goes well. I'd recommend coming here definitely if you're in Delhi. It's one of the main things to do. It's always on the top things to do in Delhi, and I can see why. So much history here, you can learn so much about the place, the Mughal dynasty, the history, the relationship with his family. It's all so interesting, and to be honest, like I said before, I'm not an expert, but so glad I got to come here today. It's also really nice to see the blend of Persian and Indian architecture. It's really cool, and you can probably recognise it from a mile away, to be honest. It's a real history lesson, it's a real feast for the eyes, and it's a great day out. And how very fitting, you can hear the mosque ringing out with the call of prayer now, so I think it's a great way to end the video. As always, if you did like it, please subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, and we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks very much.